Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories are from Am I the A-Hole? Story 1 is by Mar Posta. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that she has too many plastic surgeries to talk? For a little backstory, I'm 23 female and I have a friend who's 24 that's been having plastic surgeries since she was 18 years old. She had the 4th one this past summer. I don't care about it, it's her body and she can do with it whatever she wants. For my part, I don't have plastic surgeries, but I go to the gym since I was 20 to try to get the body I want. I say this because it's important to the story. The problem was yesterday. I was wearing a cropped top, and even if I'm not fat, I don't have a flat stomach. We were on a break between classes and my friend, Maddie, commented the following. Don't you have too much stomach for that top? You should eat less. I'm sure you lie about going to the gym. These 3 comments were separated by other kinds of conversation, so I handled them well. But the last one got me by surprise, and I answered automatically. Look at me. I eat whatever I want. I don't go to the gym, and that top would look way better on me. So my answer was, liposuction, a breast and butt job, and your new lips? Too many plastic surgeries to talk about others, don't you think? She got really mad, saying that I had no right to talk to her like that. And she is not talking to me anymore. The rest of the group is not mad at me, but they think I should have been the adult and kept quiet. So am I the a-hole? Edit, I write quote friend quote instead of friend because she's not really a friend. She goes to class with us. She doesn't have any friends, so she follows us around during the breaks between classes or at lunch. Also, I had an eating disorder in my teenage years. I don't usually talk about this. My friends don't know it. But she once heard a phone call I had with my father about it, so she knows that body image is a difficult topic for me. This is one of those stories where the person can dish it out and not take it. She's not trying to be mean by saying those things to you, but she is being mean by saying those things to you. She doesn't realize that she's being mean. And so she says these things to you, and when you say the straight, observable truth back to her, she gets mad. And like you said, she's not a friend, so don't even worry about it. You're not the a-hole for replying like this. This story had a couple comments down below that were basically saying some of the phrases that are more common through the world, like people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones and that sort of thing. It's interesting how many variations there are in different languages of that phrase. Our next story is by Scared Childhood 8766. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go to my son's wedding, which resulted in the rest of the family boycotting it? I will keep this as short as possible. My son got a girl pregnant, Wendy, and since then she's been calling me constantly to babysit. I do it when I have the time, but I put my foot down when the kid was coming over to my place 3 times a week. The 2 of them didn't like that, and our relationship became strained. He is getting married in a few months, and I received an invite. He called me and told me there were conditions if I wanted to go to the wedding. The biggest one was I have to babysit their daughter, my granddaughter, at the wedding. I asked if he was serious, and he told me it was to prove I was willing to be a grandparent, that I haven't stepped up in my role enough. After thinking about it, I informed them I will not be at the wedding, that they can get a babysitter, and I'm done with this. I informed my husband on my decisions, and he's on my side. I haven't hid the fact of why I'm not going, and anyone who asked, I showed them proof of the whole thing. This caused multiple family members to RSVP no to their wedding. They are both calling me a jerk and told me I can come without babysitting now. I am standing by my decision. Are your son and this girl still kids? There's no way these people are adults and they're telling you that if you come to their wedding, you have to babysit. That's the first thing they say to you. You have to babysit our child at my wedding if you want to come. You have to prove that you're ready to be a grandparent. This is where both middle fingers come up. No, I'm not going to. I can be a grandparent without watching your kid 3 times a week. And if that's too little for you, that's just tough. And if you desperately need babysitting, then hire somebody to be a babysitter. And if you can't hire that somebody that you need to babysit, then don't get somebody pregnant. Once you grow up and move out of their house, they want to generally be done watching babies 24/7. If they're willing to do it, you can tell. If they're unwilling to do it, you can also tell. But you don't just try to force it on them. Down in the comments by Bulbasaur Ranch. Yeah, lol, you've done the right thing. You aren't invited as a parent, you're invited as a service. I love that you saw how insulting this was and acted accordingly, and now he's realizing how hard he effed up. Then he tried to shame you and guilt you for it? F that noise. He's now learning he doesn't get to treat people, even like family, like that, and there are consequences to his actions. Not the a-hole. Our next story is by Connection Odd 5263. Am I the a-hole if I don't pay off my husband's debt? I am a 38 female and my husband is 40. I am the breadwinner. Since I work from home, I also manage the majority of the household and kids stuff. I'm also doing my graduate studies now. Yes, I am overwhelmed. My husband owns a business. He's barely able to make ends meet, and I bail him every time. I earn a decent salary and have been receiving big bonuses. Often that's the money I use to bail him. Bailed him out so many times I lost count of how much I dumped in. Recently he said business is good and bought a new car. I thought, finally, it's working. Nonetheless, I am so busy, I am often overwhelmed, tired, and clearly no time or interest for intimacy. I am always stressed and just want the day to be over. So many freaking things planning in my head because there are just so many things going on. All of a sudden, everything exploded. Husband complained that I'm not spending time with him. Blah, blah, blah. Kids not behaving. Blah, blah, blah. And the beans spilled. He is financially stressed because he cannot make ends meet. He has over $10,000 of credit card debt. It was a total crap show moment. I have paid off his debt multiple times in the past. I could afford to pay it off and let him start fresh, again, but I'm also thinking of the home improvements I wanted to do for many years. I never got to do it because all my bonus money just goes to his business. Am I the a-hole if I am not bailing this time and instead use the money for other things? I told him to transfer the debt to a lower interest rate account and set aside money to pay it off. You're not the a-hole for refusing to pay its debt, but if you want this relationship to work, you do need to make time for him. You can't just allow yourself to be overwhelmed and then say, I have no time or interest for intimacy. You say you make plenty of money. Maybe it's time to back off work a little bit, but do not bail him out. You've done it many times before, but I would definitely say, I'm not bailing you out, but I will step back and we'll have more us time. That is what I think you should do in this, because I think you are a bit of an a-hole for saying you don't have any time for intimacy and he complained about that and you just say blah, blah, blah. This is not a healthy relationship. This is just a side note for anybody who actually reads these stories, like going through and reading it, because I change things around sometimes when I'm reading it to sound more coherent. They're not always written the best. Do any of you that listen to these stories and read them at the same time get the vibe sometimes that this is just people from other countries practicing their English on us? I feel like in other countries they have courses where they say you got to write a Reddit story, and if you get a certain amount of upvotes, then you get a good grade for the course. Sometimes I feel like that. Like, I know that people write stories from other nations and they're generally true, but I often think that some people just write stories that are like other ones on here. And they're doing it for like a course. They're doing it for English training. That's the vibe I get with this story, and many others that I've read in the past. I'm curious if anybody else gets that feeling or if it's just me. Anyway, I'm not a negative Nancy, I swear. I'm just curious. It's something that's kind of gnawed at the back of my mind for a while. I feel like other people in other countries are just practicing their English on here sometimes. Our next story today is by Not Psychic Husband. Am I the a-hole for wanting to share our pregnancy news with my parents without my wife? I'm a 37 male, and my wife, who's 33, learned that she is about 8 weeks pregnant. We are delighted, but also terrified. It was the first time for both of us. She has asked me not to share the news with anyone until we got to about 12 weeks, when the pregnancy will be stable. So I have been keeping it, even though I really want to share the news with everyone around me. A key detail is that we're currently in long distance. She lives in the same country as her parents, while I am an expat and live alone. She will move in with me and to our new house in 1 month. She decided that she would like to tell her parents about her pregnancy before she leaves her home country, so that she can share some of the joy while they are still together. This way, she can also do one of the ultrasounds with her mother and experience this special connection. This is all understood, and I told her I support her in how she wants to handle the pregnancy information. She did share it with her parents, and they were overjoyed. The house is in a festive mood. They cannot stop smiling and laughing, etc. I am still under an information embargo, though. Note, I did ask her to let me share with a couple of select people for my own mental sanity, since I really needed to be able to open up to a friend. She was fine with it. Now to the drama. I asked her if I could also tell my parents, to which she responded that she prefers me to wait for the 12 weeks. By that time, we will have moved in together, in the country where I live. I said fine, but then she asked me that we reveal the news to my parents together, she and I. I can honestly not tell why, but I would like to tell my parents myself. There are no other grandchildren in our family, and I have been living away from home, like 3 continents away for the past 12 years. So in my mind, I really want to share this with my mom and dad and also have the same joyous family moments like she did. My wife took it badly. I think she feels excluded or that I do not want her to somehow be a part of my family, which on my part is absolutely not true. I just feel like I do not want this to be a joint announcement sort of situation. I want it to be intimate between me and my parents, and right after we could all have a joint video call or whatever. She is very upset. I reminded her that we did not announce to her parents jointly. She is saying that I did not express any desire to do so, which is true, I did not even think of it. But since she is clearly communicating her desires to me, it's different, and I should hear her. Sure, but I still want this to be my moment with my parents. When I say it out loud, though, I want to announce our pregnancy to my parents without my wife, it sounds wrong. Somehow, it's like I had this righteous feeling of possessiveness over a piece of news or information. I am conflicted. Am I the a-hole? Yes, you are if you go through with it. You pretty much summed it up right there, why you're an a-hole. You have this righteous feeling of possessiveness over a piece of news. You have a loving partner. She wants you to wait. She didn't go off and do this thing without your blessing. You said, fine, tell your parents about it, and they were all happy, and that's great. She wants you to still wait. She's not punishing you. She wants to be there with you. I don't really know why you feel the need to tell your parents without her, or you really want to tell your parents without her. There's something a little off in this. Down in the comments by Wes Morgan 1, this statement tells me you already know the answer. When I say it out loud, though, I want to announce our pregnancy to my parents without my wife, it sounds wrong. Why, yes. Yes, it does. You're the a-hole. Under that by the OP, not psychic husband. Yes, seems to be the consensus. I'll go do some growing up and call my wife and apologize for being an emotional idiot. Thank you. Under that by Stella Stevens 122. It's great that you're accepting the verdict. This shows that you really care about her. Most people posting on the sub would rather argue than accept when they screw up. Congratulations on the baby and good luck with your wife. I'm not sure why you want to remove her from this announcement. She didn't try to remove you from the announcement with her parents. She just was there with them and she wouldn't see them again for a time. So she talked to you and then she told them about it. She didn't just do it on her own and then say to you, oh, sucks to be you, you weren't there. You weren't there because you guys are long distance. She was with her parents and she's not going to be there forever. So she told them before she left. She's not being cruel to you, but for some reason you were trying to be a little cruel to her. But regardless, she could have also let you tell them in advance and then come afterwards. I'm a little bit split on this one just because I don't know why she wouldn't just tell you, yeah, you can tell your parents alone. But if she's going to be with you soon, you might as well do it together. Our stories for today have come to a close. If you enjoy this content, please click like or subscribe or leave a comment below. Each of these things helps my channel reach more people in the YouTube algorithm. Until we meet again, have a splendid day.